Hola and welcome to our home. We have decided to call it Casa Amarella because it is a yellow colored, beautiful piece of our heart now. And it is our future retirement home. And the process of getting this home is really interesting because we are from Canada. And retiring here in Portugal means that there are lots and lots of things that we need to think about. We own one property in Canada and we wanted to own another one. And we just didn't want it to be an investment property, but we wanted it to serve a purpose to us. And that purpose was actually having been able to retire and use this home as our own. So it was very important for us to find something that we loved.
Yeah.
Um,
And that is the most important part. Something we love, where we will enjoy staying here, not just to put it on an Airbnb. And something we can love it for a very long time, not just like a short term, because this is going to be our retirement house. So we had to look for a house that can fulfill all our needs. So
and thanks to Brent, we didn't have to compromise on
anything,
any single point. We got what we wanted, and we got it within our means. We didn't have to extend ourselves too much. We didn't have to pay exorbitant amount of money to get this house. It was the fair price. But the process of us owning a house in Portugal is actually quite interesting.
It's very interesting. Like I couldn't believe I've done it still. Like considering the way we did it, it was all Malika's dream. Like the first day, she mentioned like. So basically, the dream started with traveling the world. We traveled the world, and we were starting to think where can we retire, and then. One day sitting in Spain, Malika's like, you know what? We have to buy a house in Europe. We didn't know where exactly in Europe, but somewhere in Europe. So she started doing the research. I wasn't very aware of it. And she started researching where is the best place to return to Europe. The cost of living is where the cost of living would be good.
The taxes,
the economy conditions, the distance from Canada. We didn't want to we didn't want to find a house that takes like 1 day to travel, like for example Australia or something. We wanted a house that's like the closest that could be.
So if anything happens, we can just fly.
Yeah, and Portugal actually ranked the best considering our condition. And regardless of our condition, it was actually one of the best place to retire in Europe right now. I believe if not the first, it at least ranks. One of the top 5 places to retire, and a good example or proof to that was we're looking at where does British people retire, and most of them are retiring Portugal, and like okay, that's a given proof that this is probably a good chance we're taking. Like so.
And with the pandemic too, like I remember 2020, we actually started talking about it seriously, and it took us 1 year from us having to do our own research, having to find our own houses, seeing where in Portugal we want to buy a house. We started with the Algarve, but we quickly realized our money won't go too far. We'll probably have an apartment. We didn't want that since we already like in Toronto spaces are small. We wanted a bigger place, and also in the Algarve in winters it's a ghost town because the tourists have left, and in the summers it's overrun by tourists. So we didn't want either or, but we wanted Portugal. And we discovered Silver Coast, and when we spoke to Brent, they mentioned the benefits of staying in Silver Coast, and we did our own research, and it seemed like a good idea since it doesn't get too hot. It feels like you're living a local life, because the people are always around, the people are nice. Never once I think we've encountered where language has been an issue. People are willing to try, we are willing to try. So it's always worked. And when we found this property, thanks to Brent, it just felt like it checked all of the boxes. Our conversation with them started with a phone call, and that phone call was, I think, an hour long. Nikhil was on speaker and I was talking to Mariana, and she explained the entire process. She took us through the whole narrative of how we're going to start the search, what's going to happen, the NIF, the bank accounts, the mortgage, the negotiation, how are we going to find the houses. Once we find the houses, they're going to go see it for us, so that seeing in person, it's a whole different experience. Negotiations, the inspections, the appraisal, everything from the start till we landed here and signed the property. Even when we landed here, these guys came to receive us at the airport. Our property is an hour away. It was even further for them to drive to the airport and pick us up, but they were so willing to help us out that it felt like we could rely on them. And knowing you take 3 hours to buy a printer that you've already researched about. It was hard to get you on board to buy a property that you haven't seen in person. But I think after talking to Mariana on the phone, you were like, this is who we want to go with. We'd spoken to a bunch of agents before that, but they were just willing to help us with finding the property or talking to the people who were selling the property. But we wanted someone who's a true partner for us in buying this home, not only just doing their due diligence and just like, here is a home, now you do your thing. Brent did everything, including giving us the internet in the house, switching the electricity, the water, and we had questions. It's not like we didn't, and they answered each and every one of them. And that too, we didn't have to wait a day for a reply, because that's what we'd heard, that in Portugal everything moves really slow, people don't respond. But with them, we had such a different experience that it just felt like we didn't have to wait for anything. We asked a question, the reply would be within an hour. But even with the time difference, it just felt so reassuring that someone's got our back.
So yeah, Brent, that was a blessing. Like, to be honest, like after finally agreeing that, okay, you know what, it's your dream, let's make it together. Like how and because I also did some research, and then it started making sense, everything that she was saying about Portugal. And I was like, and it wasn't very hard. Like, you just Google best places to return Europe, and Portugal was constantly bombarding. And I was like, oh wow, it must be something. And then I was like, that's when I said, you know what, let's do this. And
that's how actually we even found Brent, through a YouTube video where they listed like mistakes that people make when they buy houses in Portugal. And I was like, oh, these guys look like they know what they're talking about.
And even then, after coming across their video, we're like, let's talk to a few people. My rule of thumb is like, whenever you do something, talk to at least 3 people, and then go with the best one. So I think we spoke to at least 2 other agents before this, and with all those agents, it felt like they were just an agent who find us a house, and then we have to take care of all the process, everything else. That's the mortgage, the all the office, all the government documents, and all those things. But and until even then, I wasn't very convinced. Like, are we gonna do this? Or can we do this? Like, we don't speak the language. We hear so badly about the bureaucracy in Portugal, and then finally we're like, okay, let's try Brent. That video we saw. Okay, let's call those guys. And then she called, and I was like, and I was just in the background listening, and I was like, oh wow, they're checking all the questions I had in my mind. They were just answering all those questions. I was like, oh, that's great. And then not only they answered those questions, things that we didn't think about, they answered those as well. And I was like, oh wow, these guys are not just answering question answers, they're thinking further of all the things we need to prepare for, and being proactive about everything. And that's when I got the confidence, you know what, we should go with them. And even then I was like, it is a contract, worst case, because I can never give my 100% confidence to anyone. Worst case, we'll step back if things don't go well. And I would say I started at 80% confidence that this will go well, but not 100. And then slowly, the way they communicated with us, like first thing they did was create a WhatsApp group with everybody in it, their entire team, not just the spokesperson. It's us 2 plus their entire team. So that showed how every everyone in the team is committed, not only Mariana, who we're speaking to directly. So every time we have a question, a different person will answer, and that basically that different person was an expert in those topics. So and the biggest challenge we were when we started the search process, we're like, this is not like in Canada, where all the houses you can find in one website. Like in Canada,
they don't have an MLS.
Yeah,
so
in Canada we have an MLS where you search the price, the area, you'll get all the houses in that area. Not a single one will be missed. And my personality is like, I need to look at every single thing before I make my decision. It cannot be like, oh, we missed something. So it was being very difficult to find a house with the resources we had, and Mariana and Brent were doing a great job finding us the houses that was close to what we were looking for. And then
and they knew the local agents. So when you know people on the inside, you also get to know a lot more houses that haven't been listed on, let's say, Idealista. That's one website that everyone starts researching on, and then you slowly find out that Idealista doesn't always have those properties, and even if you message the people, you'll barely get a reply from them. So
a lot of agents won't even reply to you. So that's where we realize
we need a person on the inside. And even this house, it wasn't on the market. These guys knew the agents, which is why we have it today, because they didn't have it on the market. They were doing some renovations, and Brent came in. They said, listen, show us all of the houses that are not on the market. And it happened so smoothly. Even though like I know we were sending them so many listings, and and it's not like they were not looking at them. They looked at each one of them, and they told us, this is not right because of this, or this is not right because of this. Or if something seemed great, they would actually go drive the distance, be it an hour, be it an hour and a half, and actually go see the place in person, tell us if there's something wrong, they see a crack, or they smell mold or humidity, because those things you can't really tell from photos.
And even the location, they scouted the location, and is the view as nice as the picture? Is the pool as big as the picture?
Or is the house legally built?
That's another thing. A lot of pools in the houses were not legal, so that's something we didn't know. And Brent told us that's something.
And we knew that we wanted to put the Airbnb the house, open it up to other people, and
so everything needs to be legal.
And we needed a license, and that couldn't have happened if the pool wasn't legal or some part of the building wasn't legal. So all of these things we'd found in our research, but we didn't know how are we going to achieve. Knowing that all of these things exist in the house. And that's where I think Brent played a huge part, where I didn't even have to say all of these things, or we didn't even have to tell them that, listen, we know all of this. They just told us all of this. They said, we've checked everything. I think 4 sets of lawyers check the papers of the houses.
We pretty much challenged Brent on every step. When there was a lawyer, when there was paperwork being done, Brent basically has their own mortgage agents. They have their own lawyers that they work with. They have their own accountant. They have their own property management company. So every time, knowing me, who's not able to give 100% confidence to anyone, every time they presented someone, for example, mortgage, they got the best rate. Lawyer, they submitted the documents ready to sign. We got it checked by someone else, and they said, yeah, it's ready, it's good to sign. So that was good too. And then property management, the price they were charging, I was like, is that high, is that low? We don't know. And we did our own research, and it was the fair price. So everything they connected us with, it was to our best interest. There was never ever a situation where they found us someone and are like, oh, this guy's too expensive, or her is not good.
And to their credit, they let us know if they haven't worked with someone previously, and they said that this is the first time we're trying them, and we would love your input. whatever feedback you have for us, like if the property management is good, not good, the problems you've had, they want to take that feedback, because I think as a company they want to grow, and as buyers agents they want to be in the buyer's best interest, which is why people can be confident that if you put your trust in them, they'll probably, like for us it worked out really well. And we've heard of and we also, like, friends who ask us, how do we buy a place in Portugal? I think we basically say, listen, there's just one company that you need to talk to.
For everything.
For everything.
Yeah. And they're like, no, you're putting too much trust in these people. Yeah. Because there's many times you'll have to sign power of attorney so that they can work on your behalf in that country. And our friends were like, yo, you're signing everything away to these guys. And they're like, oh, they're going to scam me. You're going to go there and you're just going to find a postcard of the house. And not the actual house. And like, but that didn't discourage me, like, because every single day that we were communicating with Brent, our confidence was going like 80 to 90, 90 to 100, and at the end, I don't know, it went past 100, my confidence level with Brent, how well they were taking care of everything. So
and they knew what we wanted. They knew the thing that they did was they actually saw the listings that we were sending them, and they knew what we wanted in a house, so they themselves wouldn't show us anything that we wouldn't like. So our filtering process became easier, because the amount of listings that there are on the market, it's impossible to go through all of them and see the best one. Even for us, like, we did so much research. I would go find random websites and we would tell them, hey, can you talk to this? And then you find out that the website doesn't exist, or the guy doesn't practice real estate anymore. The website's like 5 years old.
The house was sold 2 years ago.
So a lot of we were getting into a lot of those things, and we slowly started thinking that let's just let them do their thing. And when they came to us with this house, they said, guys, we found the house for you. It was hard for us to believe. We thought that it's too good to be true. It felt like something has to be wrong. Things can't be this, right?
It's perfect, because we didn't compromise on anything, right? Like every single thing. There was a time where we're like, you know what, we'll have to compromise. We don't have a big budget to ask.
But they didn't let us compromise. They said, no, until you guys are completely happy, we're not stopping the search.
So they didn't stop, and they didn't let us compromise either. Like, it would have been easy for them. They were like, if they said like, okay, this is the house, just buy it. Like, they didn't let us compromise either. So they were confident they'll find the house for us. The what we were looking for. They were more confident than we were. We were giving up, and it just happened. Like, I couldn't believe it. And
they also told us that they knew that we wanted to Airbnb the place. We wanted some revenue from it. So they told us, don't look at this area or look at this area. Right from the time they knew that we won't be present here, so they looked for a property management company who could help us out. So they prepared all of these things for us that we didn't have to do the grunt work, and it took so much stress away. I think our house in Canada was more stressful to buy than our house here,
which was an ocean away.
Which is an ocean away. The language that we
without
don't
being
know.
There,
and like every house has some little issues that you kind of look at and you're like, oh, but those are such minor things. Like, I think we have more issues in our Canada house.
But even if there's issues, they were very clear about these are the things. Are they major? Are they minor? They would specify.
And we got inspection done. We got a full report, and we got that report checked. And when everything seemed like it was okay, we landed a day before the deed was supposed to be signed, and we spoke about, should we just go see the house once before we sign it? And we were so confident that nothing's going to change that we were like, nope, let's just sign the deed and enter the house when it's our one.
Yes, we didn't even see the house before signing the paper.
Yeah, that's how much confidence.
We went straight to the bank, and the lawyer, like, we didn't even think of like seeing the house once before signing the final signature, putting the final signature. We were just confident. And this is to like. And then the moment we walked into the house, we actually cried, and the cry wasn't of like being upset. The tear was like, this was better, more beautiful than what we expected.
It was more than.
It was bigger than what we expected. The smell from the eucalyptus tree and everything was just adding to like, wow, how could this be real? Like everything, we just had a tear because how can such a wonderful thing happen? Like how did we meet such a wonderful team and they made this happen, right? So
and even picking Portugal, like they made the process of signing the papers so easy. The people around were so nice. Every single person we met, our seller's lawyer, he came with us to get us our internet with Bryn. He helped us get the car. That was a big part with the house. We got a car. Bryn helped us negotiate a car with the house, which is unheard of. Everyone is surprised. We're surprised. And it was a blessing in disguise for us to get that. And even the lawyer helped us do all of the paperwork. Everyone just
we're at the top of their game. Like they literally, one thing I can say in simple words, like Bryn literally puts themselves in your shoe as a buyer. As a buyer, they understand what are the fears, what are the challenges, and because they're able to so truly put themselves in your shoes, they will think for you from their heart, like and really take care of everything. There won't be a chance that they missed on anything. The property management company was the top of. They were the best companies. The lawyers and everyone we interacted with were just amazing. Like, and they have such a wonderful team, and it's a family run business. So
you know that they really care about.
No one is just an employee in the company, right? Everyone is a family in their team, and that makes a huge difference because they're family. They care about the company. They care about their reputation. A lot of companies, it's a one-time transaction, and once they get the money, they that's all, right? But they think about what if we have any bad experience, like that will reflect on the company even later, not just now. They think so far ahead of the company that they won't take any chance or make any mistake to have any negative review on the company.
Which is why we wanted to do this video, because we know that the struggles people have when they're buying a property from a country that they don't live in, and the questions that they have. So we just wanted to help those people, and we wanted to help Bryn have that content so that they can share this with other people, share our story with other people, because we love telling our story. We love showing people our house. We love inviting people into our home, which is why it's on Airbnb. If people want to book it and stay, we would love to share our home. And
we really want the best for Brent, and we want everyone to discover Brent. Like, if you're buying a house in Portugal, these have to. Guys. I mean, like, you know what? There might be other better people in the world. There might be other great agents, but I would strongly suggest you speak to Brent at least once to see and compare. Like as we did, I compared 3 companies before saying yes to Brent. So I think if you are considering Portugal, you should have them in the list of companies you need to talk with, and I'm pretty confident you will go with them. So and we in this video, honestly, they helped us so much. The purpose of this video is just to give back to all the things they have done for us. I hope this video does wonders for them
and helps other people. If they're
also
looking
helps other
to
people,
Portugal,
not just Brent. I hope it helps other people who are considering a house in Portugal. I hope it made it easier by just watching this one video instead of going through millions of videos. YouTube is crazy, so I hope this one video answers all the questions. Thank you.
Thank you.